Well, this build is goddamn nasty. And that's not only due to how insanely nasty good it is, but also due to how many boners you're spawning. Hell yeah, it's a Bone Spirit build, and it's indeed the best Necromancer build currently, achieving tier 140 clears just now by this legend and hitting for more than 2 billion per hit. It's the Kim Jong-un of Diablo 4 that created my favorite version of this build, so everyone can start shooting out missiles in the highest of pits. And it's now time for you to drop those boring-ass minion builds and start blasting this amazing build instead. Alright, so how does this even work? To start off, the build just scales massively. We have a bunch of different multipliers in this build that just scales Bone Spirit through the roof. And when you have a high base damage, which Bonus Spirit has, you can see how it is possible to achieve this insanity. And firstly, we have the Bone Spirit scaling via maximum resource. Bonus Spirit consumes all essence upon cast and increases its damage by 4% for each essence. And in dummy language, Big Spirit equals Big Damn. So the more spirit we have, the more damage we will deal. This spirit also benefits us in another way, however, as we are able to use the Banished Lord's Talisman to overpower each bonus spirit we send out, as long as we cast it while above 275 spirit. By overpowering each bonus spirit, we gain both the 50% damage bonus from overpower in itself and the 60 from Banished Lord's Talisman. But that's not all, because we gain a whopping 70% goddamn damage from the Blood Moon Breeches when overpowering as well. And yep, there's more. We gain an additional 35 from Bloodpath. This means that we automatically gain hundreds of multiplicative damage just by doing something we were already doing, stacking max essence. And on top of that, the maximum essence is also utilized in the Ossifized Essence key passive, allowing for an additional 120% or so. So yeah, maximum essence is pretty important. Another extremely important stat is crit chance in this build. We need 100% crit chance in this build. This is not only for big fucking damn, but also due to it decreasing the Bone Spirit cooldown by 7 seconds as long as it crits. This is the reason you're seeing the guy spamming out bonus spirits non-stop. Getting 100% crit chance may seem daunting at first though, but it's actually easy as hell. We're gaining more than 60% crit chance just from the skill tree and aspects in themselves, meaning we don't require any greater affixes to reach the 100% cap. The same goes for the maximum essence. The 275 essence is a bit tougher to reach, but there are some changes you can make to easily reach that. You're also getting some help from the aspects and Paragon, so don't worry, I'll show how you sort that shit out. And what would happen if you don't reach this? Well, damn my man, you'll send out 2 bonus spirits instead of 1 instead. And the more boners the merrier, that's what I usually say. There is, however, one additional scaling factor that makes this build absolutely bonkers. And that is that Bone Spirit is Macabre skill, a core skill, and you can roll Bone Spirit on boots. So what does that mean? Well, damn my man, you can actually reach up to 29 ranks in Bone Spirit, which is pure insanity. Show any other skill that can do this, and I'll take a seat on my nutsack. Alright, so that's the damage. There is, however, one massive other factor we need to consider, and that is spirit regeneration. By consuming insane amounts of spirit, we also need to gain it back. But that's not a massive issue at all, seeing as we can roll spirit generation on most of our gear pieces, along with grabbing restored primary resource from Macabre skills. If you slap these on, then you'll regenerate all of the spirit instantly after each Bone Spirit. And if you don't get it all back, you can always spam some summon skeletons to buff yourself up in the meanwhile. And what's even more amazing is that everyone is still on the old Minions builds, meaning you can probably just trade for these items with ease. Okay, so that's the basics of how the build works. Let's take a look at the ideal gear setup now, so you know what you're looking for. I'll discuss my planner here, and you can also find it in the description. You don't want any Ubers for this build. Instead, look for a helmet like this one. The maximum essence and essence generation is the most important by far, so definitely masterwork that shit. This build also utilized Bone Storm, making you an immortal god with the shielding storm aspect. You're also gaining 20% crit chance via the Bone Storm, sorting out some of the crit chance for you. And next up is the chest. Same here. You want a bunch of essence per second. This, along with Macabre skills, is the most important here. Seeing as Bonus Spirit is a Macabre skill. You're getting massive diminishing returns for the damage with all the skill points, however, so it's not that important to hit Macabre skills on Masterworking, meaning any of those two are fine as hell. Not unlike yourself, you beautiful human. You're also looking to slap on the Hardened Bones aspect here for some yummy damage reduction. For gloves, you're looking for these. Focus on the crit chance and core skills here. You also need one armor roll to get armor capped, and you'll find that here. Also slap on the conceited aspect, as you'll be able to keep up a massive barrier via your bonus storm. And next up are the pants. You've already seen these, unless you skip the intro, in which case you are extremely unbased, my man. In either way, 70% Big Dam is massive. The Amplify magic is also huge here, but unless you have a greater affix, then you shouldn't bother trying to masterwork it, as you will need 3 masterwork crits to upgrade it otherwise. Instead, focus on masterworking the damage reduction or max life here. You then have the boots. Essence per second and Bone Spirit ranks is what you're after here, and obviously some movement speed to become fast as fuck boy. You're also looking to grab the Occult Dominion aspect here, and why is that? Well, damn, my man, because you'll get maximum essence from them via the Requiem Ring aspect later on. And for weapon, you're grabbing general damage bonuses and max life. It's not important what you masterwork here, but you'll definitely want to temper Bone Spirit damage along with Bone Spirit size for them big explosions. And man, we love them big explosions. For aspect, the Grasping Veins aspect is just absolutely bonkers, granting 50% crit damage and helping you out with that crit chance cap. And why aren't we using a two-hander in this build? Well, damn, my man, because you want to focus, of course. You can grab a bunch of yummy stats here, namely maximum essence and cooldown reduction, which you want to prioritize. Bone Storm duration is also massive to keep up the bonus storm with ease. Alright, and then we have the jewelry. Banished Lord's Talisman is the only real mandatory item for this build to work, as we need the overpowers to deal big dam. So kill that fat green diabetic and farm some talismans. For masterwork, focus on the resource generation, as it will help you immensely. After that, we have the rings. To get that crit cap going, grab it on both rings. The absolute most important stat by far, however, is the resource generation temper, because without those, you're pretty much fucked. So masterwork that shit. You're also grabbing the Requiem aspect for the maximum essence, and the Torment aspect for massive essence generation. Well, damn, my man, gear and aspects are now done. Let's check out the Book of the Dead, because that one is insanely important to understand for this build. Firstly, we're grabbing the Defenders, because else they'll just fucking die, and we lose our maximum essence. For the Mages, however, you want to sacrifice them for the 30% overpower, but this is also where you could sort out the maximum essence with ease. You can either sacrifice the Shadow Bros for essence generation and max essence, or you can just keep the Shadow Mages for some additional damage and more essence via the Requiem aspect instead. Pretty easy, huh? Hell yeah, my friend. Oh wait guys, just one sec. Yep, just what I thought. It's indeed skill tree a fucking clock, and you know it, my man. The basic skills can obviously suck a hairy nutsack. Instead, grab these passives for Big Damn and some corpses. We then want Blood Mist, along with Enhanced and Ghastly Blood Mist, to easily spawn corpses. If you have issues with Essence, then I also recommend grabbing 3 points in Grim Harvest. If not, then just go with one and pick up Fueled by Death instead. After that, we want these passives for Big Damn and grab Decrepify. Not only massive for damage reduction, but it also helps us with cooldown reduction via Abhorrent Decrepify. As long as enemies are stacked up, this one grants absolutely massive amounts of cooldown reduction. We then head on over to these yummy skills and pick up Corpse Tendril, not only a way to gather up enemies, but also for providing us with Vulnerable. Necrotic Carapace sorts the Fortify for us for the damage reduction it provides, and we obviously want Bone Spirit. A fuck ton of ranks in this one, in fact, and then Enhanced Bone Spirit to reduce its cooldown, and Dreadful Bone Spirit for huge amounts of spirit regeneration. These passives grants us some yummy damage and crit chance, and then there's Rapid Ossification. This thing is bugged and doesn't provide you with the cooldown reduction instantly for Bone Spirit. But if you throw out a Decrepify, then you will get it. So yeah, nice one, Blizz. In any way, that's why you're seeing gameplay where Decrepify is spammed for no apparent reason. After that, we go to the ultimate skills where we have yet more crit chance and, well, even more crit chance in the Bonus Storm. On top of that, it also grants you immortality and some damage reduction, which is pretty neat. And lastly, the key passive. The Ossifeist key passive grants just insane amounts of Big Damn, along with being able to use the Serration aspect for yet more Big Damn. A must-have for this build, and well, there's not really any other option anyways, El Mao. Well, goddamn, my man, you still here? You fucking legend. Let's head straight on over to the Paragons then, and let's see if you're man or woman enough to handle it. In the planner, you can see which order to place the Paragon boards in case you get car sick or whatever when hopping between boards. Starting off with Control, this one helps massively for clearing packs of enemies as well as when bosses are staggered. After that, we go to the Bone Graft board, where we have an additional way to gain some max essence along with Big Damn. You also have some essence nodes here, which are a must-have. You'll then socket essence for the damage bonus and head on over to the Flesh Eater board. This node right here is why you want to keep spamming Raise Skeleton, as it consumes corpses. You'll then go to grab the Corporeal Glyph to buff the nearby nodes and grant some additional damage. With this and a fuck ton of intelligence, you should get resistance capped. If not, just grab a max resistance roll on the gear, my man. We then make a U-turn and go to the Scent of Death board. Here we socket Dominate for the Big Damn, obviously, and go over to the Bloodbath board. This legendary node is just insane, granting a whopping 35% Big Damn. You'll also grab the Dead Razor Glyph, only for the 15% damage bonus, however. And finally, we take a trip all the way over to Uganda and socket Amplify. Socketing it here grants some additional overpower, which is always nice, and we also gain the multiplicative bonus. Hell yeah, my friends, if you're still here, then you, sir, are one awesome guy, or perhaps even woman. Consider subscribing, and let's go get heckin' good now. Alright, so how do you play this amazing build? Well, damn, my man, it's not as difficult as it looks. Because all you want to do is spam that Bone Spirit button as much as possible. So to do that, you're throwing out a Bone Spirit followed by spamming your summon skeletons to buff yourself along with Decrepify to use the bugged Rapid Ossification passive to reset the rest of your Bone Spirit cooldown. When it comes to the other skills, you're using your Blood Mist whenever needed, either for spawning corpses or to avoid fucking dying El Mao. Same goes for the Bonus Storm. You want to use this on cooldown. To make it not useless, however, you need to stay up close for it to damage the enemies. And for the corpse tendril, well, that skill is just absolutely bonkers. Use it to stack up enemies and burst them down with billions of damage. Just don't forget to drop a Decrepify on their sorry asses first, because you want that yummy cooldown reduction. Well, that, my friends, is all for this video. CIA in the next one, Kings.